Level 1. The illusion of touch. What if I told you that you have never touched a single thing in your entire life? Not the screen of your phone, not the bed you sleep in, not even the people you love. To understand this glitch in our reality, you have to realize what you are actually made of. You and everything around you are made of atoms. But an atom is not a solid object. It is 99.99% completely empty space. It is a vast, invisible void. If you magically removed all the empty space from the atoms of every human on Earth, the solid mass of the entire human race would fit inside a single sugar cube. So, if we are mostly empty space, what happens when we try to interact with the physical world? The outside of every atom is covered in a cloud of negatively charged electrons. And in the laws of physics, negative charges absolutely hate each other. They repel. When you reach out to touch a wall, the electrons in your hand violently push back against the electrons in the wall. You never actually make physical contact. There is always a gap, an invisible barrier. In quantum mechanics, this is known as the Pauli exclusion principle. It states that no two electrons can occupy the exact same space at the exact same time. The universe strictly forbids it. The harder you push against an object, the harder the electromagnetic force of the universe pushes back against you. The only way to actually force two atoms to physically touch is under the crushing gravity of a star or inside a nuclear explosion. Only then does the barrier break. So, what are you feeling right now? If you aren't actually touching anything, the sensation of touch is just a biological lie, a simulation created by your nerves. Your brain is simply interpreting the electromagnetic resistance between electron clouds and translating it into a feeling of pressure. But it's an illusion. This is level 1 of the reality iceberg. We are just scratching the surface of the illusion. Stay tuned for part 2, where we look at the glitch in time itself. The deeper you go, the less you'll trust your senses. Level 2. The delay of reality. You are currently living in the past. Not metaphorically. Literally. Everything you are experiencing right at this exact second has already happened. The present moment does not exist for you. Look around the room you are in. Listen to the sound of my voice. Every single piece of sensory information has an unavoidable speed limit. When light bounces off an object and hits your retina, it takes time. It is not instantaneous. When a sound wave travels through the air and vibrates your eardrum, it takes time. Every sound is an echo, but the real delay happens inside your skull. Your sensory organs turn data into electrical signals traveling down your nerves. Those signals finally reach your brain, where billions of neurons have to stitch them all together into a coherent picture. It takes your brain roughly 80 milliseconds to process the world around you and present it to your consciousness. That means your entire life is just a delayed broadcast. By the time you realize what is happening, it is already history. You are watching a pre-recorded video of reality. Your brain knows this delay exists, and it constantly lies to you to cover it up. Think about when you stub your toe. The physical impact happens instantly, but the signals reach your brain at different times. Yet, your brain magically syncs the pain and the sight perfectly together, editing the timeline of reality so you don't notice the lag. Because of this processing delay, you are a time traveler trapped inside a meat suit, forever watching the immediate past. But the lag gets infinitely worse when you look up. Go outside tonight and look at the stars. Light is the fastest thing in the universe, traveling at 186,000 miles per second. But space is incomprehensibly massive. The closest star to us is Alpha Centauri. When you look at it, you are seeing it as it was over 4 years ago. Some of the stars you see in the night sky have already burned out and died. They exploded thousands of years ago, but their final light is just now reaching your eyes. You are quite literally staring at the ghosts of a dead universe. If your perception of time is a delayed hallucination, who is actually inside your head experiencing it? The terrifying answer brings us to level 3. The deeper you go, the more the world dissolves. Stay tuned. Level 3. The split brain. What if I told you that you are not alone in your own body? You think you are one singular person with one mind, entirely in control of your actions. But modern neuroscience has proven that is a terrifying lie. There are actually 2 completely separate, independent consciousnesses living inside your skull right now, and only one of them knows how to speak. To understand this glitch in human biology, we have to look at how your hardware is built. Your brain is divided into 2 distinct halves, the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere. Normally, they communicate seamlessly through a thick, dense cable of nerve fibers called the corpus callosum. But in the 1960s, desperate surgeons started cutting this cable entirely in half to cure patients with severe epilepsy. The surgeries successfully stopped the seizures, but they accidentally created something horrifying. When the two sides of the brain could no longer talk to each other, the illusion of a single identity shattered. The patients started acting like two completely different people trapped inside the exact same body. Doctors documented terrifying cases where the patient's own hands would literally fight each other. The right hand, controlled by the speaking left brain, would try to pull up a pair of pants, but the left hand, controlled by the silent right brain, would violently try to pull them back down. One documented patient tried to hug his wife with one arm, while his other arm actively tried to push her away. Because the left side of your brain controls your vocal cords, it acts as the spokesperson for your body. Your left brain does all the talking, so it arrogantly thinks it is the only one in charge. But your right brain is a mute, silent partner, experiencing the world completely in the dark. It cannot speak, it cannot scream for help, but it has its own desires, its own beliefs, and its own distinct personality. You are not a single individual. You have been sharing your life, your eyes, and your body with a silent stranger this entire time. But if your mind is literally divided, what happens when your brain decides to completely rewrite your past? Welcome to Level 4. The deeper you go, the more the world dissolves. Level 4. The memory glitch. Think about your most precious childhood memory. You probably picture it perfectly, like a video playing clearly inside your head. But what if I told you that memory is almost entirely fake? Neuroscience has discovered a terrifying truth about human memory. We assume our brain works like a computer hard drive, but it actually works like a biological game of telephone. Every single time you remember an event, your brain physically rewrites the memory. The version of the story you remember today is a heavily edited, corrupted file. When you first experience an event, your brain wires a specific pattern of neurons together. But here is the biological glitch. The act of remembering actually pulls the memory out of long-term storage, making it fragile and unstable. In neuroscience, this process is called recon consolidation. While that memory is active, it becomes highly vulnerable. Your present mood, new information, and even subtle suggestions completely contaminate the original memory. Then, your brain saves this newly altered version over the original file. You are never actually remembering the original event. You are only remembering the last time you remembered it. Over years and decades, this process completely mutates your past. Details are entirely erased, colors change, and conversations are completely fabricated by your subconscious. Psychologists have even proven that it is terrifyingly easy to implant completely false memories into people's minds. People will swear under oath about crimes they saw, or childhood trauma they suffered that absolutely never happened. So, ask yourself, who are you really? Your entire identity is built on a foundation of corrupted data. The story of your life is just a piece of historical fiction, written by a flawed narrator. But if your past is a biological lie, what happens when the physical universe starts violently messing with your future? Welcome to Level 5, the final layer of the illusion. Stay tuned. Level 5. Time dilation. What if I told you that your head is officially older than your feet? We all believe that time is a universal constant. We think there is a giant invisible clock ticking away at the exact same speed for everyone. But Albert Einstein proved that this is a complete illusion. Time is a physical fabric woven together with space, and just like any fabric, it can be stretched, bent, and completely warped. The most terrifying part is what bends it. Gravity, the most terrifying force in the universe. In Einstein's theory of general relativity, gravity is not just a magnetic pull. It is the physical curving of space-time caused by massive objects. But here is the massive glitch in reality. Where gravity is stronger, time moves slower. Time hits the brakes. Scientists have proven this by placing ultra-precise atomic clocks at different altitudes. A clock placed at the bottom of a mountain actually ticks slower than a clock placed at the very top. The difference is real. Time is literally moving faster at higher elevations. Now apply this terrifying physics fact to your own body. When you're standing up, your feet are physically closer to the center of the earth than your head. Because your feet are deeper in Earth's gravitational well, time is actually moving slower for them. Your brain, situated higher up, is experiencing time at a faster rate. If you live to be 80, your face will be older than your toes. It proves something deeply unsettling. Your body is not existing in one single timeline. You are physically stretched across different temporal zones. But if time is relative and reality is just a bending fabric, what happens when the universe decides to stop existing? Welcome to Level 6. The deeper you go, the less there is to hold on to. Stay tuned. Level 6. The Observer Effect. What if I told you the universe operates exactly like a video game? In a video game, the world behind your character doesn't actually exist. To save computing power, it only renders when you turn around. But quantum physics has terrifyingly proven that our actual universe does the exact same thing. The physical world around you is not completely solid. It is a shifting, invisible cloud of mathematical probabilities, and it only snaps into physical reality when you are actively looking at it. To understand this, we have to look at the most famous, reality-breaking test in physics, the double-slit experiment. Instead, when they weren't being watched, the particles acted like a blurry wave of water. They existed everywhere at once. Confused, the scientists placed a measuring camera at the slits to see exactly what was happening. But the exact moment the camera was turned on, the universe realized it was being watched. The wave of possibilities instantly collapsed. The electrons went back to acting like solid little bullets. Matter does not exist in a definite solid state until a conscious mind or an instrument observes it. When you close your eyes, the room around you theoretically dissolves back into a wave of probability. The moon is not physically there when absolutely nobody is looking at it. We are living inside a system conserving its memory. You are the player, and the universe is just loading the scenery as you walk. But if reality is just a simulation, what happens when the underlying code allows two objects to communicate instantly? Welcome to Level 7. Stay tuned. Level 7. Quantum Entanglement. What if I told you that teleportation is absolutely real, and it frightened the smartest man in human history? We are taught that nothing in the universe can travel faster than the speed of light. It is the absolute unbreakable cosmic speed limit. If the sun were to magically disappear right now, we wouldn't even know it for 8 long minutes. But modern quantum mechanics discovered a loophole in the fabric of reality that shatters this rule. It is a phenomenon so bizarre that Albert Einstein refused to believe it was true. He famously called it spooky action at a distance. And it proves that distance and space might not actually exist at all. To understand this glitch, you have to look at the birth of particles. When two subatomic particles are created at the exact same time, they can become entangled. This means their physical properties become completely, permanently linked together. They become one single mathematical entity. If you take these two entangled particles and separate them by a few inches, they mirror each other perfectly. But here is where the universe completely breaks its own laws. Imagine you took one of those particles and placed it right here on Earth, and you took the other particle and placed it on the exact opposite side of the observable universe, billions of light years away. The exact nanosecond you spin or interact with the particle on Earth, the other particle reacts instantly. There is zero time delay, not a single millisecond. The information does not travel through the vast emptiness of space. It simply teleports. This should be physically impossible, unless the space between them is completely fake. Quantum entanglement suggests the universe is not an empty void. It is a deeply interconnected web, where everything is touching everything else, behind the scenes. At the Big Bang, all matter was compressed into a single microscopic point, which means you are still entangled with the stars. You are secretly connected to the entire cosmos. But if distance is an illusion, what happens when they start communicating backwards through time? The answer will break you. Stay tuned. Welcome to Level 8. The deeper we go, the less the rules apply. Level 8. Retrocausality. What if I told you that the future has already happened, and it is actively rewriting your past? We live our entire lives believing in a strict, unbreakable rule called cause and effect. You drop a glass, and it shatters on the floor. The past always causes the future. But quantum physicists have discovered a terrifying glitch in the timeline of reality. At the microscopic level, time does not just flow forward like a river. It can actually flow backwards. This mind-bending concept is known in theoretical physics as retrocausality, and it mathematically proves that a decision you make tomorrow can literally change what happened yesterday. To prove this, scientists created something called the delayed choice quantum eraser experiment. They proposed a cosmic thought experiment involving a single particle of light, a photon traveling for billions of years. It started its journey long ago. On its way here, it passes a massive galaxy, forcing it to choose a path: go left or go right. According to common sense, that physical choice was permanently made billions of years ago. But when scientists catch that exact photon in a telescope today, they can choose how to measure it. And here is the reality-breaking result that shocks physicists. The way the scientist measures it today actually dictates which path it took billions of years ago. The ancient history is physically altered. The act of looking at the universe right now is retroactively creating its history. The future is reaching back. This means the timeline of your own life is not a fixed, solid road behind you. It is constantly shifting. It is being edited by events that haven't even happened yet. Every choice today might be altering who you used to be, sending ripples backwards in time. But if time can flow backwards, and physical distance is a total illusion, what if the entire 3D universe we live in doesn't actually have any depth at all? Welcome to Level 9. The final descent begins. Stay tuned. Level 9. The holographic principle. What if I told you that the entire three-dimensional universe is a complete illusion? You experience the world with depth, volume, and physical space. You can move in every direction, but it might be a massive mind trick. They propose that the universe is actually completely flat. It is a two-dimensional surface, like a gigantic cosmic television screen. And everything you see, feel, and experience is just a highly detailed 3D projection. You and the stars might just be a complex hologram. To understand this impossible concept, physicists had to look at the most destructive force in nature: black holes. For decades, scientists like Stephen Hawking argued over what happens to information when it falls into a black hole. They discovered that when an object is swallowed by the void, its physical 3D body is destroyed. But the information is not lost. It gets perfectly encoded, flattened, and stored onto the 2D surface of the black hole's edge, called the event horizon. Just like the magnetic strip on a credit card holds complex data, the flat surface of a black hole holds the 3D blueprints of the universe. String theorists then took this terrifying math and applied it to our entire reality. It works perfectly. Our entire 3D reality is being projected from a flat 2D boundary at the very edge of the cosmos, which means you are not physical. You are a highly advanced, interactive projection generated by microscopic quantum data stored billions of light years away. Your brain and your memories are simply rendering a 2D code into a 3D experience. We are the ultimate optical illusion. If reality is just a flat screen, and the universe is just a massive hard drive storing infinite information, why are we the only ones playing? Why is the cosmic ocean completely terrifyingly dead silent? We are coming to the end. Welcome to the final level. The deep truth is almost here. Stay tuned. Level 10. The final layer of the iceberg. The dark forest. Look up at the night sky. There are over 200 billion stars in our galaxy alone. And orbiting those stars are billions of Earth-like planets. Mathematically, the universe should be absolutely teeming with highly advanced alien civilizations. We should see massive empires. We should see alien megastructures harvesting stars and endless radio signals crossing the cosmos. But when we point our most powerful telescopes at the cosmic ocean, we find absolutely nothing. It is completely, terrifyingly dead silent. This deeply unsettling contradiction is known as the Fermi paradox. And the most chilling answer to this paradox is called the dark forest theory. Imagine the entire universe is a massive pitch-black forest at night. Inside are countless unseen hunters. Every alien civilization is a hunter, armed to the teeth, trying to survive in a universe with limited resources. In this dark forest, if a foolish hunter suddenly turns on a flashlight and shouts, "I am here," they are making themselves a target, because no civilization can ever truly know if another is peaceful or hostile. There is a cosmic chain of suspicion. The only logical way to survive is to stay silent. And if you detect another, you must destroy them immediately. Not out of malice, but paranoia. Now, think about what humanity has been doing for the last 100 years. We have been blindly blasting loud signals out into the dark forest. We are the foolish child walking through the dangerous woods with a flashlight, shouting into the darkness. Ancient godlike civilizations are simply holding their breath, hiding in the shadows, and they might be listening to us right now. From the microscopic empty space inside your atoms, to the delayed processing of your own brain. From the illusion of a 3D hologram universe, to the terrifying silence of the cosmic dark forest. Reality is not what you think it is. You are a biological machine, processing a delayed simulation, floating in a dangerous void. If you made it to the absolute bottom of the reality iceberg, congratulations. Never look at the universe the same way again. Subscribe to the channel. Never look back.